Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Hafinas and I'm a senior lecturer cum academic leader for School of Accounting and Finance, Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation, APU. Our topic today is Digital Transformation Strategy, how finance industry can transform in a new norm. Before we start, let me inform how you can talk to us during the webinar. If you have any questions during the presentation, just write them to the chat box. We will have a first Q&A session to answer your questions after the first speaker's presentation. And then we continue with second speaker's presentation. After that, we will have the second Q&A session. There will be an e-certificate of attendance to all participants, provided you fill in the feedback link that will be shared at the end of this webinar. The certificate will be emailed to you in due course. Now, let me introduce to all of you our today's speakers. Both speakers are industry professionals who have vast experience in their respective field. Please welcome our speakers. Let me introduce their background before we start. The first speaker is Dr. Nur Hazilawati Awang, a Vice President, Digital and Financial Services for High-Tech Padu Berhad. Dr. Hazila has more than 20 years of experience in system integration, consultancy, application development, product development, and research and development. She started her professional career as an analyst programmer in several multi-millions projects with specialization in enterprise system, both in public and private sectors. Heavily involved in various projects in multiple roles, from programmer to technical advisor and project sponsor. She completed her Doctor of Philosophy, Computer Science from UTM in 2014 in software evolution using middleware and policy-based method. She is a technical committee member, software engineering for CIRIM since 2011. She is also appointed as an industry advisor for several universities, public and private in Malaysia. Please welcome Dr. Nur Hazila. Then we have the second speaker. The second speaker is Ms. Norbaizura Abdul Jabbar, a Senior Assistant Vice President for MUFG Bank Malaysia Berhad. Ms. Norbaizura has 20 years of working experience in the financial services and audit industry. She has a degree in accounting and finance from University of East London and a master's degree in Islamic finance professional by INSEF. She started as an auditor with EY and moved on to the Private Debt Securities Department of Securities Commission. While she was with Kuwait Finance House, she structured and executed Sukuk transaction. She then moved on to Dana Jamin and set up the Kafalah platform for Dana Jamin. Without further ado, let us welcome the first speaker, Dr. Hazila, to start her presentation on digital transformation strategy.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and good morning. Thank you, Hafinas. Let me first share my screen. All right. I think you guys can see my screen, right? All right. First, I would like to thanks Asia Pacific University for inviting me. And I was requested to talk about a few things under the topic of digital transformation strategy, how financial industry can transform in the new norm. So specifically, I was asked to talk about a digital transformation mission, Fintech Strategy, implementation of Fintech Strategy, and also latest updates in Fintech. You can ask me questions later. If I can answer, then I will answer you today. If not, then just probably I can email my answer to your lecturer. So let us start with something very basic, digital transformation. Digital transformation has been in our industry, whether it is financial or IT or manufacturing, for a few years now. So what is digital transformation? I think I was given 20 minutes for this. So I need to make this very quick. So digital transformation, in a very loose definition, it only comprises of 3 keywords. The first one is technology, transform, business. Loosely defined, digital transformation is the use of technologies, any technology, in transforming your business to achieve your goals. So when we are talking about digital transformation, the keyword is transform. How this technology can be used to transform your business. What changes does digital transformation can affect your organization or your companies? Digital transformation can affect your operations, your internal operations, the way your personnel, your staff do works. How do we use digital technology to improve your operation efficiency? Number 2, it can introduce changes in service delivery in positive way. How do we make technologies improve the way you deliver your services to your customers? Number 3, new products. How can digital technologies be used to introduce new products to the market? Probably it's easier if we can use example on changes made. If you remember, you guys are young, probably you know Amazon now, but previously Amazon only sell books. It's brick and mortar store, they sell books, and then they sell books online. But look at what happened to Amazon now. Amazon Web Service, AWS, is one of the biggest cloud provider. So that's how digital transformation transform a company. And also now we can see that Amazon is also going into fintech, where they can offer money. They lend money to small organizations. The next interesting example is how digital transformation transform Nike, the shoes. Previously, it's just shoes. It's very nice shoes, but it's just shoes for jogging, for walking. But with digital transformation implemented a few years ago in Nike, they create connected shoes. They created connected shoes where the shoes now can communicate to your iPhone to collect data, and these data can be used to improve the way you run, especially if you are a sportsman, then it's very important. Another topic under digital transformation that I find interesting is there's always a discussion whether digital transformation business or technology. Is it, do we approach it from technology standpoint or from business standpoint? In my opinion, it's always about business. End of the day is about your revenue, how much money you make for your business. So digital transformation for me is never about technology, but it's about how you use technology, how technology can support your business. So that brings us to point number 5. It's about the vision of digital transformation. From my observation, normally successful company will start with a vision of the company. Digital transformation vision should always support your company vision. For example, Burberry. The vision of Burberry is about strong branding, strong market share, and how do digital transformation vision will support that business vision. So for Burberry, the digital transformation vision is very simple. They want to be the first company to implement digital technologies end to end, from internal up to the way they access the customer. So I found that Burberry's vision in digital transformation is really supporting the business, and that's I think make the digital transformation for Burberry is very successful. So I think I'm going through this quite fast because I'm afraid that we are running out of time. So next topic is fintech. What is fintech? What is the relationship between fintech and digital transformation? So I think to put it very simply, fintech is the digital transformation in financial industry. How do we use technologies to innovate product and services in financial industry? So that's very simple definition of fintech, which from this definition you can detail it up. What kind of technology? What do you mean by innovation of product and services? That can be the basis of more discussion later. All right. I prepared the slides actually based on my experience, based on my observation. It's not really academic slide where we have reference and things like that. But this is what I think happening in the industry. So I'm coming from that angle. So probably if you come from read from other literature, you may find different thing, which is not wrong as well. So this is just what my observation in Malaysia implementation. So when we talk about fintech, normally there are three types. The first one are banks, like local banks, Maybank, Citibank, Citibank not local, CIMB, and also other banks that operate in Malaysia. When we look at banks, because banks is brick and mortar in financial industry, but they are moving forward in implementing fintech as well. Because if we look several years before, there are heavy discussions on will traditional bank become obsolete? Will fintech take over banks? The discussion was along that line. And it was a real discussion because we can see during that time there's a lot of interesting evolution or transformation, new startups that offers many products. They are not banks, but they are offering financial products. I will explain later based on my observation how it is now. So previously it's like that. But we can see that banks also start to implement fintech in their operation. For example, we can see Maybank to you, MAE, and other banks that start to use digital technology to reach customers. Number two, this is from global view, enterprise fintech. When we are talking about enterprise fintech, we are talking about other type of enterprise which are not bank initially, but they are now going into financial industry market. One example is Apple. Globally, Apple Pay card transaction globally, 5% of the card transactions belong to Apple Pay. It's not belong to any banks, but it's to Apple Pay. And we can see that if we go to 7-Eleven, you can see Alipay, Touch and Go. So initially, these companies, they are not bank, but they are offering different type of payment, different type of the way that we can we can buy our things. That one is what is categorized as enterprise fintech. And other people may refer enterprise fintech as tech fin. I found some articles that refers to this type of companies as tech fin. And the one that I mentioned earlier about AWS start to provide loans. And closer to home, if you notice that AirAsia is offering big pay, AirAsia is also going into fintech field. They are entering the financial industry market. And number three are startups. Startups are very interesting They are young, they are vibrant, versatile. They create products. They create financial product. And for example, Katsana. Katsana is a local fintech product. They are in the market, I think, before 2015. What they are doing is they collect behavior data of the drivers, and this data is used by insurance company. So they can match your behavior during driving with the kind of money that you have to pay for your premium. It's more on insurtech, which is also fall under fintech. Earlier, we mentioned that the discussion was, will banks go obsolete? Will traditional bank being taken over by startups or enterprise fintech? But the way I see it in Malaysia, for the last few years, banks start to collaborate with startups. Banks start to implement hackathons to give chance for startups to provide products. One interesting thing about startup is they can do works very fast compared to traditional organization. They do work fast, they can fail fast, they have ideas. So I think it's a very good collaboration that banks have with startups, because they can cut short the development time for product development. For banks, the way I observe it is more on incremental steps they are going into fintech. Normally, when I talk to our customer, because banks are big, so the way they do that is they start with transformation program. So under transformation program, there are digital transformation. So normally they have a chief digital transformation officer or chief transformation officer that will spearhead the activities of implementation of this transformation exercise. But another approach to digital transformation of fintech is transformational. This one, for example, the way AirAsia is doing it, it is totally transformed from, they want to transform airline company into a digital company. So this is another model that I can see happening now. Probably I'm going too fast. If you have any question, can ask me later, because I'm coming from a technical background. So probably if I use any jargon that make no sense to you guys, then please ask me later. The topic, how digital transformation can help in financial industry, specific to pandemic, before pandemic and after pandemic. So what can financial industry do? I think what can they do, they know more than me. But this one is from a technology standpoint and my observation. Before the pandemic, I see financial industry, they have plans. The first one is to upgrade the core systems. Because if you want to offer something new, if you want to implement new technology, then your base or your core banking system or your core insurance system or your core investment system must be able to support the new technology. It doesn't mean that you have to change the whole core systems, but the keyword is the ability of the core systems to support your new direction. It can be done. Technologically, it can be done. We have seen our customers doing it in different models. Some customers change totally. Some customers do it gradually using the current core system. Because the next, what they want to offer is reaching the customer more by providing omni-channels. By saying omni-channels, it means that the financial industry, they want to reach the customer using various channels. For example, mobile application, browser-based, kiosk, normal branch. So it's about customer reach, how they reach the customer. The more the channels, the better reach they have. Number 3 is more internal to the financial industry, is automation. This is more on improving internal processes. How do bank look into their processes and cut short certain things so they can go to the market faster? For example, they can offer loan processing faster. How do bank do this? By using automation. Number 4 is onboarding. Is related also to mobility. How to onboard new customer fast, cut short the process, easier using mobile app. Security, new products offered to market, and also payment. And then COVID came. In March 1st, we underwent the first PKP. So we cannot really go out. So it affects our banking behavior. Globally, 50% increase in registration of using mobile app. Is a global figure. Not sure about Malaysian figure. So we can see that more people register with banks to use mobile banking. And in terms of payment, more people shops online. So using mobile payment, using new way of payment, using FPX, using QR code. And also, I think during and after pandemic, bank must or financial industry must go fast on improving the onboarding for the new customer, implement eKYC, know your customer, and the most important thing is security. Because of mobility, because of online banking, online payment, then the issue of security is become very, very important. Now, a lot of scammers, phishing for information, hacking, and we are talking about money here. So I think one of the most important thing for financial institution to look into is security, be it network security or endpoint security, virus, and things like that. All right, this is my last slide. Not sure about the time. This is the trend for 2021. I was asked to talk about the latest update. So I think this can be counted as latest update for FinTech. This is again global trend. It's not specific to Malaysia, but I think it is quite the same. Number 1 is digital only bank. I don't think we have digital only bank locally, but in UK, Europe, and US, and also I think Japan, they have digital only bank. So they don't have branches. Everything is digital. I think we are moving toward this as well. And some approach probably for traditional bank is to create a twin digital bank. It's not really digital bank only, but it's kind of a separate entity, but supported by a strong brand. For Malaysia, I think it's going that way. Number 2 is RPA. RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation. It's for automate certain processes internally so that financial industry can offer faster processing, can reach the customer faster, can approve loan faster, and the keyword is fast. Number 3 is AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning. This is also, we start to see the new trend entering banks. For now, I see a lot of offerings is on managing risk and also detecting fraud. Because for machine learning, we can feed data, fraud data or any data, and the machine can learn by itself. So they can detect fraudulent transactions, anomalies in certain transactions or in banking records. And the trend that I start to look that is picking up for banking now in terms of artificial intelligence is chatbot. For now, people are playing with chatbot for call center. So when you call the call center, probably is the chatbot that's answering the common question. And for more complicated question, then is human. The next trend for chatbot is actually transactional, where you can use chatbot to perform transaction for you. This one I think is still under testing in certain banks in Malaysia. Number 4 is blockchain. Blockchain has been in the IT industry for so long. It just referred to distributed ledger, where there is no middleman. You cannot tamper with the ledger. Blockchain is very straightforward. Its data is put in a block, and you have new data, and you chain it to the previous block. So in terms of application in banking, this can be used for peer-to-peer lending, trade financing, audit purpose, audit trail, because it's really difficult to tamper with records in blockchain. Some said it's impossible, but I think it's still possible. But you can see when that happened, then it's easier to be seen. Number 5 is open banking. Open banking is another concept where a bank opens certain things or certain API that other companies, for example, startups, can offer services on top of it. For example, Bank A and Startup B. Startup B want to offer a mobile app that can perform transaction on Bank A. Then now we have platform called Open Banking API that other companies can use safely, securely to access the traditional bank. Number 6 is biometric security system. This is related to security I mentioned just now. When we say biometric, it's more on two-factor authorization, combining password with thumbprint, combining password with iris or facial recognition, and it is used specific to security. Number 7 is RegTech. RegTech refers to regulatory technology. This one is more on certain companies, a group of companies offering services to help other companies to comply to certain regulators. So they are offering this as a service. So for example, you are startups and you want to do things for banks which must go through certain regulation, and these companies will offer tools, will offer services on cloud as a service. I think I cover almost all that was asked from me to do. So I will stop sharing my screen now. And please ask questions. Thank you. So back to Hafinas.
Thank you, Dr. Hazila. A very informative explanation on what is digital transformation in general and its implementation. So the digital now has become a new norm, and the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the urgency around digital transformation, particularly in financial services. We already have a few questions in the chat. Maybe we can take one or two before we go to the next speaker. Okay, the first question is EQIC is growing in the developed market as well as for big banks. Why it is still a low-key affair in Malaysia?
I think the technology is there. The implementation is still low-key because I'm not sure about the regulation. I suspect one of the reason is the regulation, and also implementers are still afraid of the security part. I think that's two reasons. In terms of regulation, I'm really not sure whether is it anything to do with Bank Negara or some regulatory body, but from implementation standpoint, people are still afraid in terms of the security.
Okay, thank you. I hope it explain and answer the questions. So next one is, can Dr. Hazila share more about the challenges for banks to adopt digital onboarding and eKYC? Same topic just now, eKYC.
So to do digital onboarding, you need, of course, eKYC. And digital onboarding can be from mobile app or from web. First, I think the challenges, number one is security, because you are opening floodgate where people can open account without going to the branch. Before this, you go to the branch and you can compare you can compare the physical IC or passport. But now, if banks can overcome the security issues, I think the challenge is less of a challenge. For us coming from a technology background, I think it's quite secure. We can do things to secure in few levels. The first one is during the onboarding itself, then there are some security measures that we can do. And number two, if fraud or things that can go through that onboarding process, then another level of security also that we can put there. So when we talk about security and process, is a balance between how secure you want it to be, and also the timing. Because if you make it too strict, then people will get put off. You ask too much of questions, and people will get put off. So the challenge is again the security and also the balancing act.
So thank you, Dr. Hazila. Can I take one more question?
Yes.
Do you think fintech as an innovation, future of money, or mode of bringing social change?
Well, this is very big question actually. It can be all the above. Fintech can be innovation in terms of new products. For example, if you read about things that happen in Africa with M-Pesa, around 2 billion people around the world, they call as unbanked community. They don't have bank account. So fintech is using not even mobile app. It's using, I think, SMS. That brings social change. That is where fintech brings social change. In terms of future of money, if you combine fintech with blockchain, Bitcoin, and things like that, it can be future of money. And for innovation, of course, it's an innovation. For both future of money or bringing social change, fintech is definitely an innovation. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you. So I guess we can go to our next speaker. Then maybe after this we can have more questions after the second speaker. So our next speaker, Ms. Baizura, will talk further on the digital transformation strategy in financial institution. Let us welcome Ms. Baizura.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Let me just share my slides. Right. It's gonna refresh soon. 30 minutes. Hi. Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So what I'm gonna do today now during this 30-minute session, I'm not sure. Dr. Hazila was given 20 minutes. I think I shall stick to 20 minutes. Because most of the information that she has actually given is going to be covered again in my presentation. Okay, so what I'm hoping that I'll be able to actually excite you with the definition of digitization, which I think you already know, advantages and disadvantages, a typical presentation from a banker myself, and initiatives taken by the banking industries in order to ensure that their market capitalization actually remains intact. Okay. Fintech, I think as what Dr. Hazila has rightly pointed out, is actually consists of payments, remittance, e-wallet, RegTech. Seriously, I have learned so much from her during the last 20 minutes. Marketplace, InsurTech, lending, crowdfunding to blockchain. Okay. Somehow I've actually found this really interesting website, fintechnews.my. If anybody out there can actually share other websites that I can keep myself up to date with, please do share. So the slides, the figure that they have, the chart that they have given, payments and e-wallets are basically dominating the whole Malaysian landscape, which is just slightly below 40% of the usage. Okay, so but to be honest, it does make sense because currently we are doing shopping online, right? We actually use Shopee, Lazada, and because of this COVID, we have many shopping platforms that is actually mushrooming. We recently, I think last few days, there's FGV, Felda Global Ventures. They came up with this gopasar.com. It's actually quite an interesting initiative because, due to this pandemic, most of the people have actually lost their jobs. So FGV has actually created this initiative where they come up with these guys to become the riders at a profit sharing basis. And we can actually shop online for our groceries and they will deliver it straight to our doorstep. It also follows the current SOP that the Kementerian Kesihatan is asking us, right? So in an e-wallet, at the same time, is also dominating nation fintech, but it's more on to avoid physical payments, right? So we actually have Wave, like what Dr. Hazila has rightly pointed out, Touch and Go wallet, and even banking actually have a QR Pay or MAE. So digital banking, actually digitalization under digital banking actually offers convenience for both banks and its customers. With customers can actually save time and hassle through convenient banking transaction. We can actually conduct it on the go. Having dinner, while we're having dinner, suddenly we actually need to do our own transaction, pick up our mobile phone, do our transaction immediately. Not that we are ignoring our boyfriends or spouses, but we're actually doing certain transactions. Okay? Banks can also save money on physical infrastructure and hiring costs by moving a part of their transaction from counter to transactions online. I myself love doing maybank2you.com, for example, not promoting Maybank, but I can complete whatever transactions that I need at my fingertips, right? So, and if you're as old as me, which I doubt, you will remember during my younger days, I remember going to Post Malaysia, queuing up for half an hour to 1 hour, bringing all my bills, paying water bills, telephone bills, electricity bills, all the transaction in Post Malaysia. And it actually took me around half an hour and 1 hour to complete my transaction. So this digitalization or fintech actually helps the transaction at ease. It's actually making the payment all seamless, and we can do the transactions anytime we want. Moving on. So the advantages of digital presence is we can actually do online banking. We even have mobile banking now, QR Pay, going to Shopee, Lazada using FPX payment, debit card. Then My EG, we can also pay bills. In fact, we can actually pay our summons online. We don't need to queue to the BKL counter waiting for our turns, and we'll just have to pay through e-mobis. So, and the other advantage of digitization is efficiency and productivity. It does improve efficiency and productivity for organization. We all know how this pandemic has greatly impacted the global economy, and Malaysia is actually not excluded. We need to get used to this new norm, like what we have been saying, all these things, all this time, new norm, right? That is why not only banking industry need to be digital savvy, it is also now more critical for business to actually adopt technological in their business as usual. Right? It's also an effective way to upskill the employees and also manage their operations efficiently. This is actually to make sure that they remain viable and relevant. Okay, but having that, there's also disadvantages, right? And from the earlier speaker, she has actually rightly mentioned about data security. Okay, while we actually do all our transactions online, it actually opens up entry points for cyber criminals. Hence, the need of cybersecurity is actually required. Right? Breaches of data, of technological savvy banks. Primary purpose of cybersecurity is mainly to protect the customer's assets. So cybersecurity is actually important because at the end of the day, it's always about customers' assets. We as bankers, we make sure that our customers' records remain intact and not towards fraud. Okay, so this with cyber criminals, it badly affects bank in recovering lost data. Okay, based on this IMF report, average annual potential losses from cyber attacks could reach as high as 100 billion. And in severe attacks, the loss estimates could range from 270 billion to 350 billion. From between August till October, there has been 10 cyber breaches. Imagine just 3 months, yeah? 10 cyber breaches from malware, ransomware, and phishing. Okay, that's why it's not a surprise that for my bank, every month we actually receive reminder from our operational risk management department to make sure that we do not click any unknown or unfamiliar emails. Do not click on the link at all because it will actually attack the servers of the banks. So, and also with technology, it actually opens many channels for criminals and terrorists to funnel illicit money easily. So that's why it's actually a pressure for the banking industry to bring in a better AMLA and countering the financing of terrorism initiative. Hence the reason why EKYC is actually required and required urgently actually. Okay, so the primary challenges, even if we actually need to have this, primary challenges for the banks are there's actually outdated rules and systems. Why? Is because most of the banks already have their own fundamentals. Okay, we actually have banks that exist for more than 30, 40 years, right? So it's their rules and the systems outdated. So to update their rules to update the systems, it will be cost. And when we actually incur cost, the cost of fund of the banks will increase. Okay? So there's actually a the situation that we need to actually balance the pricing that we give to the customers and also the cost incurred by the banks. At the same time, it's a cumbersome compliance practices. Like for my MUFG is actually a global bank. We have HSBC is actually a global bank. Citibank is actually a global bank. So at the same time, all the systems that we have must comply with our parent bank. So the compliance practices there even though, yes, it's the same, but the implementation will be a bit cumbersome because of the size of the bank. Okay? That's why banking is deemed like a lack of initiative, and that has lack of initiative, lack of innovative, because first of the issues being a global bank and also being an old bank, right? And second is because we already have that basis, we already have that customers, and what and we already have that customer base. So our capitalization is still intact. So sometimes we need that push factor to make ourselves becomes innovative. So these are the few initiatives by certain banks. I'm just going to list, I think around 4 or 5 banks. One of them is actually Hon Leong Bank. In Hon Leong Bank, applying for a job is now automated. Okay, guys, if you want to apply in Hon Leong Bank, it's all automated now. Okay, screening and pre-interview engagements done via the chatbot. So chatbot, as we understand, it actually ease the burden of repetitive work. So imagine the human resource of Hon Leong has to receive 2,000 emails, okay, within 2 weeks. And it's just difficult for them to actually reply emails one by one. And most of these questions are actually general questions. So chatbot is burden of repetitive work. Okay. But when you actually have this screening, this pre-screening and pre-interview, so to apply for a job, you need to make sure that your GPA is high so that you can actually come up. You can actually be more presentable for them. If your CGPA is 3.5, they probably have that range for you to be able to go for the second stage. Okay, so it's also the same process also applied in delivering bank services to corporate and SMEs. Okay, so all these corporates and SMEs will just go through the chat box and chatbot and then just ask general questions. So whatever general questions that the chatbot can answer, general questions is actually saving more time for the corporates and SMEs. So Hon Leong has also provided secure and seamless e-token for corporate and customers. It will authenticate and has biometric facial recognition technology, which for mobile devices, which meet strict regulatory security requirement. This facial recognition can authenticate logins and approve payments. With this e-token, corporates, SMEs are now able to perform banking activities without the need to carry a physical token. Okay? The e-token will also be integrated on smartphone. So any confirmation of transaction on the registered mobile will be approved with a single tap. Okay? Maybe we will be asking that, why do we need an e-token? Why can't we have a physical token? Well, physical token, you need to carry it everywhere, right? So for the corporates and SME customers, it's going to be troublesome for them to actually carry it. Even we lose our car keys. Every morning, I actually need to search for the whole house for the car keys. So imagine if we actually have a physical token. So that's actually one of the initiatives to reduce any misplaced tokens. So for RHB Bank, remember we mentioned about security, data security. Well, RHB has partnered with Visa and Idemia. Idemia is actually a company with augmented identity. These are specially set up for security data. What they do is they actually come up with a credit card that generates dynamic card verification value security code on an e-paper mini screen at the back of the card. Remember, usually we actually have our credit card and debit card with the static numbers there. So now it's actually regularly refreshed based on the e-paper mini screen. So it's actually quite helpful to ensure that the data security is intact. Okay? So the 3-digit code at the back of the card will automatically refresh regularly. But based on the 2019 report by Bank Negara, the majority of payment card fraud cases in Malaysia involve credit cards, which accounted for 92% of total fraud losses. Payment card fraud is mainly contributed by card not present fraud for an unauthorized online transaction using PIN numbers, CVV code, and identity theft. Maybank is one of the most initiative banks in Malaysia, has come up with an e-wallet, MAE, which is short for Maybank Anytimes, everyone. So non-Maybank, the interesting part about this is it also opens for non-Maybank customers to sign up. Okay, what we need to do is actually you are required to register and go through the basic KYC process, and voila, you actually can be you're able to actually use the MAE as the for payments. So MAE actually features a wide range of features which has a wide range of features which includes instant transfers, expense trackers, mobile top-ups, bill splitting, P2P payment, QR, and contactless payments. So there's another initiative done by Maybank because in collaboration with Visa Malaysia, they actually launched mobile payment apps for merchants, tap to phone. So it's not only for the consumers, but it's also for the merchants. These enable merchants to accept card payments from customers by using the app on their mobile phones. So there's actually no point of sale terminal. Tap to phone is supported by the latest Android-based smartphones to facilitate credit, debit, and prepaid card payments. So what the merchants need to do is just to download and launch the Tap to Phone application on their smartphone, and customers can actually tap their card to the merchant's phone to make payments. So the Tap to Phone service accepts all contactless payments for transaction of 250 and below. CIMB Bank has actually gone one step further by launching virtual banks in Philippines. By that, they have actually secured 500,000 customers just within 6 months of launching. So in late 2018, they actually launched virtual bank in Vietnam. Why didn't they open a virtual bank in Malaysia? It's actually their homegrown, right? But currently, Bank Negara is reviewing the digital banks framework. And hopefully, by July 2021, the framework will be completed. So in that, CIMB is also open the idea to pursue Malaysia's virtual banking license once the framework is ready, and hopefully in July 2021. They have also entered into a partnership with Asia Digital Capital. The objective is actually to assist 700,000 SME customers in Malaysia and Indonesia to access financing solutions. So it's like a window for them to come up with these financing solutions. The access is done through Axiata's Digital Capital's micro-lending platform, Aspirasi. So from the recent article that I read, apparently Aspirasi's the usage of Aspirasi has actually increased a lot but payment-wise, for example, the fintech, enterprise fintech, our shopping platform has actually reduced a bit because of this COVID, people are hesitating to spend more. OCBC Bank has initiated Frank by OCBC. It's actually a reinvention of the traditional features of fixed deposits. Usually, when you actually have a fixed deposit, you cannot withdraw your money during that time. Let's say if you have 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months fixed deposit, if you withdraw, you will be penalized, but not by this Frank by OCBC. Okay, it actually features a save and spend pots, which enable the depositors to earn interest while maintaining control over when they spend their money. They can actually withdraw and spend the money anytime without being penalized. Frank by OCBC also includes a functions called Money Insights, which automatically categorizes their spending and allow users to compare their spending management. There's also frank debit card, and whatever spending that you actually have on foreign exchange will also, there will not be any fees incurred by your spending on foreign exchange too. Okay. UOB has actually launched the FinLab. A FinLab is a digital transformation program, like what Dr. Hazila has mentioned earlier, is a platform for SMEs and startups to start digital transformation journey by incorporating the JOM Transform program. It's supported by the Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC, as a strategic partner to provide advisory in digitalization. At the end of the day, SMEs will actually go through 1 month of curriculum on the digital platform where they will have access to industry mentors from UOB and its regional ecosystem partners through online workshop, video tutorials, and webinar. So it doesn't stop there, because SMEs will also be further guided on digitalization strategies and solutions to address immediately business challenges and be matched with relevant opportunities. Okay. Many people have said that that's actually tracked by fintech innovation is causing financial disruption, but because it actually opened the door to financial services for less developed countries and SMEs. We know SMEs have difficulty on getting a loan, maybe because they actually do not have a proper documentation, these SMEs, and even though they're registered with SSM, they have governance issues, right? So fintech is actually opening the door for them to actually get funding, right? Also, there's also robo-advisors, which are actually computer programs that generate investment advice according to customer data. So it might actually be a threat for investment advisors. But then, having said that, we still need that human interaction, right? We can't be looking at the computer all the time, looking at chat box, looking at robo-advisors, because sometimes we actually need to have that qualitative review on our investments. Okay? So but even though they're threatening the financial industry, but they're still lacking extensive experience and expertise in risk management. So in the credit management, you need to have a review on the quantitative and qualitative data, and which is something that is where the review by human advisors, is actually required. Okay. So, and also banks are also often thought of not innovating quick enough. And some actually say that bank might lose out to fintechs and cease to exist by 2025. But that will remain to be said, and how banks will be able to catch up with this fintech technology. Okay. So what is digital banks a solution? It might be, yeah, because with the current pandemic and with the new norm, with having a digital bank will offer innovations in the products and access channels associated with the traditional banks. They can actually have a window, like Islamic banking. Initially, we do not have Islamic banking as a subsidiary. It started off with Islamic department having a window to the conventional bank. So then it improves to going for Islamic subsidiary. Okay, for Islamic bank. Okay, you actually have Maybank Islamic, you have Maybank Berhad, and they are actually both Islamic. Maybank Islamic is actually a subsidiary of Maybank Berhad, but it's actually not a window. So maybe digital banks can start with that. You actually need a virtual bank as the window to the traditional banks. And digital banks will also fill the gaps in the market, providing better, more attractively priced product services because of the low cost, and also lower transaction costs and quicker approval for loan finances. Okay, so, and at the same time, with the current COVID pandemic, mobile usage is actually accelerating towards the digital adoption. We consumers, our behaviors are changing, our preference are changing. We are concerned on face-to-face transactions. We are also looking at new tools and technologies. So in 2018, Malaysia's internet banking has actually increased so much with a 90% usage rate. And Malaysia is actually ranked high ahead of Italy, China, and Chile with regards to network readiness, and also among highest in Asia. At the same time, we are also very blessed that we are supported by the strong government, support by strong. We have strong government support in the likes of MDEC and Bank Negara. So I think that wraps up my presentation for now. Let me stop sharing these slides, and any questions you can actually put it in the post box. And back to you, Havinas.
Thank you, Ms. Baizura, for the interesting presentation with the latest updates of digital transformation in banks, products, and services. Very informative and very up to date. Okay, we have some more questions here. Maybe we can have Dr. Hazila as well together, because there are a few questions that Dr. Hazila can answer and Ms. Baizura also can answer. Okay, so we have here, good morning, Miss. Do you think the digitalization threatens bankers' job? If so, what kind of jobs are in danger?
Oh, okay.
Maybe,
I know this will be quite a concern for anybody who's actually not taking fintech, or what is the courses for fintech for them to get a job in banking?
oh, we have here Bachelor of Banking and Finance specialism in fintech. We also have
Uh-huh.
Master in Finance specialism in fintech. So
Yeah, but you don't have to worry, Fayala, because at the end of the day, there's actually a huge opportunity that we can actually have in banking. We still need advisory, okay? Because robo advisors can't provide you with the right advice when it comes to investment. They actually look at just the data and just match it, but they don't have any qualitative data to review. So, what kind of jobs that is in danger? Maybe more of the operational works, but advisory will still be. There's still opportunity in advisory job. I hope that answers your question.
yeah, okay. So there are still bankers' job out there. Okay, even though fintech take
Won't be
over.
obsolete.
Okay, so next questions. For I think this one is more on general digital transformation. Maybe Doctor would like to answer. For medium like e-wallet, there is always a risk that our details might be shared with third party. Usually, what are the safety measures we have to ensure our details are protected? So more on security, Doctor.
I think, yeah.
Let to,
Yes, you said it rightly that there is always a risk. There is always a risk of a breach of security, not only in e-wallet but also in other implementation. But I think when we are talking about security, there are two prongs of it. The first one is we as a consumer, we have our role to play, that we secure our e-wallet, our password. Actually, can you hear me? Because it is quite
it's like
unclear.
echoing a bit.
Yeah. But
Do you have
can
two
you
devices with you?
no,
If
just
you
one.
have two devices, just one.
Yeah. So can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can.
I just repeat what I said just now. I think there are two prongs to security. It is still echoing, is it?
Still echoing.
Okay, not sure why, because I only use one device. But can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you. I think that one is okay.
Okay. The first one is we as a consumer, we have our role to secure our own data, not sharing our passwords and things like that. And another safety measures is at the banking or side. where I think there are a few layers of security measure that bank can take. If it is in terms of technology, then there are tools to secure. But what things that is quite difficult is in terms of social engineering, where certain people can sell our information. So I think the risk is there, but I think bank also is doing its best to secure our information using security tools, and also in terms of governance that they take, and also the after effect of it. Like I mentioned just now, if things like this happen, then high chance that the person who's doing it will be get caught, because bank has audit log and transaction log and things like that. But maybe Miss Baizura want to add to that from bank perspective?
No, from the, you mean for the safety measures?
Yeah, for the security.
Yeah, for the security, for the e-wallet, you're talking about the e-wallet, right? No, because from MUFG's perspective, because we actually do not have any e-wallet transactions. So, but then at the same time, we do have our systems that our customers protected in the data. So I'm not sure how the safety measures that they have in banks, to be honest, because I'm not on the technological side for that. So not in the IT side or even in the risk management side. So I need to get back get back to you on the answers for this.
So more or less, the security features are being taken care, right? In when bank are introducing e-wallet, of course they are taking care of the security. They are not like introducing something without a security behind it, right? So
Yeah.
we go for the next questions. In your opinion, how soon do you think we will have global standards on the use of blockchain in banking, particularly in the area of governance and accountability? Anyone want to?
Blockchain in banking. We can't give you a timeline, to be honest, because even with this virtual bank, for example, the Bank Negara's framework is still taking quite some time to come up. And to be honest, as the Securities Commission has also come up with these seminars and awareness program on this blockchain. And but coming up with the standard in Malaysia is taking time. What more coming up with the global standards? So we really have to just wait and see.
So it will take time. Along the
Yeah.
way, it will,
Yeah. It's a sad fact, but it is.
okay. So, Doctor, want to add anything? Would you like to add? Also, you
Okay.
are mute just now. Okay.
All right. I'm not sure about the global standard on the use of blockchain specific in banking, but probably there are other global standards not specific to blockchain.
Yeah.
I think along that line, because specific to blockchain, because blockchain is just implementation. So I think from standard standpoint, it could be on higher level than that. Blockchain can be just one implementation of, for example, P2P or audit trail or things like that. That's my opinion.
Okay. So next question is fintech regulation is supportive or neutral to banking industry?
This is a hard question. But like Miss Baizura said just now, it's taking time. I'm not saying that regulation or government is not supportive. We have one supportive government, Bank Negara, MDEC, and things like that, because Bank Negara come out with sandbox to test all this. But I think when it comes to money bank, then it will take time. But my answer to that will be it is actually supportive to the banking industry because it's not limiting anything that bank can implement so far. Maybe it just taking more time.
Okay. Ms. Bajura want to add?
No. I have to agree in that case because, when it comes to Vanagara, they actually do detailed research, and they have many, they will come up with, asking opinions from the bankers, the banking industry, whether it's actually viable, because they don't want to be too rigid in regulating. So they need to have, even though we actually have a strong support from Bank Negara, but Bank Negara also requires support from the bankers.
Yeah, hand to hand. Okay. So next question. How conventional banks view the micro lending platform offered by the non-banks or telco like Axiata? What are the strategy that banks will take to deal with the competition from non-banks?
Okay. Well, CIMB actually works with Axiata, so it's actually a collaboration in that sense. So basically, for us to look at this, it should be more of a collaboration between banks and the fintech. Is for example, micro lending platform. It should not be a competition. It should be more of a collaboration because fintech actually have their own strength, but they also have their disadvantages. While banks, they actually have our customer base, and we actually have our relationship, and it doesn't stop there. So the collaboration is required.
While I'm reading the questions, please, you all the participants, you can fill in the attendance list. You can scan the QR code or go through it to the link for the attendance today. Okay. So thank you just now, Bajura. Doctor, you want to add on the micro lending platform non-banking competition?
I totally agree with Ms. Baizura. The strategy is to collaborate, not to compete.
It's better, right? Synergy.
That's true.
Okay, next question is, any comments of ETF in Malaysia compared with index fund in other countries? Banker?
No, that's
You want
only
to take this
ETF.
question?
This is actually totally a different topic in a sense.
Yeah. So maybe you can relate with the digital ETF. How about the implementation, or do you have any ideas on that ETF?
No, to be honest, yeah, I can't comment on something that is that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So for
Bianca.
Jsheng, this one is actually for ETF performance, I guess. So maybe we can get in other webinar that more on the fund performance, maybe. Okay. So let me see. Yeah, we have another questions here. As the bank is evolving and expedite greatly due to pandemic, may I ask whether fintech have any resolution to the refugees? As you know that it is a great issue which hardly solved by the current financial industry. So on the refugees matter,
Okay.
Doctor or Ms. Bachura, do you have any ideas on that?
Now,
Fintech.
well, from the banking perspective, actually, we do not have any. You're talking about the financing to the refugees, because at the end of the day, whatever financing that we provide, whatever financial assistance that we provide, requires certain credit check. So that will be the involvement of banking industries will be quite minimal to the refugees, unfortunately.
Okay.
From fintech view, I think one of the things that may be helpful is crowdsourcing or crowdfunding along that line.
Yes, we have now crowdfunding, alternative lending for that one, right? So thank you, Doctor. So no more questions. We finally come to the end part of this webinar. Before I close the session, I would like to take the conclusion from what the speakers have presented. The acceleration of digital transformation occurred across the entire banking and finance ecosystem. The importance of integrating digital and physical delivery capabilities has become an essential for success and survival, since consumers and businesses also adjust quickly to the digital options. So as we are entering 2021, I believe every financial institution must embrace the digital banking transformation trends. The financial institutions not only need to double down on the commitment to enhance digital customer experiences, but also to improve their internal processes, infrastructures, products, and employees that will give solid foundation for upcoming competitiveness. As Malaysia's premier digital tech university, APU has been constantly embracing digital transformation in its program. We are the first university to offer Bachelor in Banking and Finance with a specialism in financial technology and Master of Finance with a specialism in financial technology to equip students with the knowledge and fundamental skills to deliver financial services using technologies. Students will have opportunities to dive deep into the concepts and applications of financial technologies such as blockchain, machine learning, Python programming, cryptocurrencies, robo-advisor, data analytics, and etc. Log on to our website or speak to our counselor to find out more. With that, I would like to thank you so much to the speakers for informative and interesting presentation and to the participants for very active participation. Hopefully, the webinar will be beneficial for everybody. Amin. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to fill in the feedback form, scan the QR code, or go to the link stated there. We will email to you the e-certificate in due course. So I guess the session will end here. Any last word from Dr. or Baizura you want to add? Any last word?
All the best and stay safe.
Thank you, Doctor. Ms. Baizura, you are mute.
Yeah, thank you so much, APU, for inviting both Dr. Hazila and myself to become the speakers for this webinar. To the students out there, please take care.
Okay,
And study hard.
thank you. Stay safe and take care.
Thank you.